Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 22 of UnCoMfY CoNvOs. This is your boy Shiv, your guy, your dude, your man boy, whatever you want to call me. And today we're going to talk about social media anxiety. I'm sure you've had it. You know, a lot of people have social media, and if you don't, that's okay. But if you do, listen. And if you don't, listen. And to talk about this anxiety, we have someone who is on social media. What better person to have on? But in addition to that, he is a very funny man. He's one of the greatest improv comedians I've ever seen and improvised with. He's finished all levels of the UCB Improv, Upright Citizens Brigade Improv. He's now on a house team called The Official, and they perform at the Armory Comedy. He's also the host of the 1 Minute podcast. 1 Minute Pod, have you ever heard of it? Go check it out. And he is in the New York Underground Comedy Festival. So without further introduction, thank you so much for being on, Graham Sachs.
Thanks for having me, Shiv. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see. Even better to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How you up?
So just to start off, I mean, this is social media. It's a heavy topic, something that we deal with in our lives. I'm just wondering what your relationship to social media is.
What my relationship to social media?
Yeah.
It's it's pretty I don't want to say distant, but it's more of a small family and friends sized, I would say, social media approach.
Yeah, more intimate.
Yeah, more intimate. It's a little more of dinner with me, as opposed to for the fans. I like one in particular. I love Twitter. I think that's really all I use. I think it's just like a little less. I don't get served with ads every time I'm on it. A lot more of my friends seem to be on Twitter, which is good. But I think it's a lot more fun. It's a little more raw than Instagram or any of the others.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like more unfiltered.
Yeah, a little more unfiltered, a little more, Well, some for everybody on Twitter too,
Yeah.
Something
for every single person. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many, you're right. There's so many niche accounts that are.
You can follow an account about toast if you want, or you can follow porn, or you can follow, literary novels. It's got something for every walk of life. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I didn't think about it like that. I agree though. I think Twitter is very unfiltered. Like it's just like what they say, and everyone just, it's like you said, it's so raw.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's like, I don't know. I like it. It's a little more, you get people like a more, I guess, raw. I mean, like you get to actually hear from your friends, even if they're just, being funny. Like, if I go on Instagram or Facebook, I never go on Facebook, but if I go on Instagram, like, every post is polished. It's just a very small, like they're the same post. It's just the same. It's a guy on a beach, or it's a girl by a pool, or it's somebody hiking, or it's someone who may have had a nice dinner. It's like, it's a snooze fest.
Yeah.
So if you go to Twitter, somebody might say something crazy. Somebody might say something funny, So I like Twitter for that.
Yeah, like that's true. Like on Instagram, I can be more. I try not to be filtered in general, but on Twitter, if something I've said is like anyone else still pick their nose,
Yeah.
And like that's something I wouldn't, usually say on my Instagram or Facebook with family.
That is true too. When you can, the quantity, because Twitter's a volume game. Not a quality game. It's a volume game. So like, I'll just tweet after I had McDonald's the other night. I just tweeted that I liked, the McDonald's that I usually order from, that's the kind of stuff that lands on Twitter,
That tweet did well.
Yeah. Instagram would just kick me off the platform if I did something like that,
Wait, what was the tweet? You said, I like McDonald's?
Just said, that the McDonald's by my house is doing a good job in light of COVID,
Okay.
That's
Okay,
the
that
kind of,
makes sense.
that's the kind of stuff you can. It's not, you can just you fire from the hip on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire from the hip. You go to an account, they have 80,000 tweets.
Uh,
It's like most of them incoherent.
yeah.
So, like, it's just a little. I like it for that reason. That's my social media of choice. I, you know, I like it. Instagram, maybe it'd be different if I had something to lose. But
Yeah.
I my and maybe people do take Twitter more seriously, because I don't mean to, if somebody does, but I have it's such low stakes for me that,
Mhm.
like, they're all just fun, for the most
Yeah.
part.
I feel that. So would you say, like, when you have a tweet that doesn't do well or it doesn't land, like, you don't feel that? You're like, whatever.
No, yeah, it's just, yeah, it was just stupid,
Yeah.
because the way I don't view it as like, I'm like producing some type of work. Like, I just try to fire from the hip. Sometimes it goes wide. Sometimes it misses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm human though. I guess I feel a little sting. If you notice something not maybe be as well received.
Yeah.
I've gotten in my share of Twitter fights. So, but I don't sweat it too much. It probably gets announced a lot.
You've gotten in Twitter fights?
Have to, gotta, if you stumble into one, you can't run, especially on Twitter, because there's a footprint. So you don't want to be, you don't want to be you don't want to scurry away into a corner. You want to turn towards, the light, sprint towards it, so.
Of course. Yeah. Like, there's no other way to handle that situation.
No other way to handle it. Also, the other thing that I like about Twitter is that it's very much, like, you can't find people you don't know on Instagram for the most part, right? Unless you're like
Yeah.
looking for it or something like that. I'll go on Twitter and it's mostly like people I've never heard of tweeting,
Yeah.
like, it's a lot of people who I don't know, and you can just jump right in those combos. I don't, but that's how,
Yeah.
another good thing of it is it really does have that, I don't know, spiraling effect.
Yeah.
Where, yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. I've experienced that too. Like, I did this Obama impression. Like, I was like, hello, like, just did like a little Obama. Yeah, and I had like the, huh?
that's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is me and Michelle. And I kept going with it, and you do like the, and then I did a video, and I had like a suit on, and one random Twitter person that I don't even follow was like, "Stay in your own lane."
Yeah, see, that's the right there. That's Twitter reaching out, grabbing you in the chest, and you punch back right there. That's where the Twitter fights you run into.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, but that's the disadvantage of Twitter, and the advantage. You know what I mean? Because that's how, like, you saw I forget her name, but the comedian that took off, that was doing those Trump impressions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Incredible, dude. But,
yeah,
like, it's that's the only way those things take off is
yeah,
you need those people who are like, stay in your lane,
yeah.
because you'll get 10 people behind them that are like, shut up, dude, and then
Yeah, which happened.
it will spiral into something so far away from that video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the beauty of Twitter, though.
It's like you bring up someone's mom's cooking, like random, like, it just escalates into different.
Oh yeah, dude. I tweeted one time about my mom got banned from the Dunkin Donuts in our hometown for like a month or something, but like, it really was the Dunkin Donuts fault.
What happened, if you don't mind me?
I tweeted about that, and it was just, I was throwing right and left hooks all day,
Yeah.
defending my mom. So
What happened? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no, she had gone into a Dunkin Donuts, a Dunks in the morning,
Adults.
and she had, like, there was they have these weird protocols sometimes at those restaurants where like they'll only serve the drive-through first
Mm-hmm.
if you're ordering something small inside. So like I
Mm-hmm.
guess it was the people working were only serving the drive-through, and everybody in the Dunks was like freaking out. And then my mom was like, I just want a small black coffee. I'm late for work. Can you just not serve 10 cars and just, you know, get me a small black coffee? And the lady was like, absolutely not. And my mom just like let her have it, but rightfully so. But no, it wasn't that mean. But the lady was like, never come back here. And my mom was like, my pleasure.
That's really funny. So now, did you feel awkward? Did you go into that Dunkin' Donuts?
I have been back. I have been back.
Has she been back to it?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. But maybe only drive through.
Yeah. Ironically enough.
We'll see. Or she at a different time.
Oh man, that's really funny.
Yeah. But is
Uh,
that the worst thing that's happened to you on Twitter? Have you ever had any weird things happen to you on Twitter?
no, that's not the weird. Like I'm still working on it, and this is my issue with social media in general. It's something that's hard to overcome, especially if you're like a comedian or someone who's trying to like be in the public space. Like if you have a tweet and it doesn't do well, like sometimes I get discouraged by that. I'm like, oh, like if I do a tweet and there's 0 likes, I'm like, is this a sign, or like is that like am I, but it's not a big deal, obviously. It's just like you just psychologically, it's like sometimes it messes. So I don't think the volume to tweet wise that I've done has warranted enough to get into like beef on Twitter, like to have those arguments. But that was the weirdest one for sure. Yeah, like that was like the one where I was like, but it was a random person. It was like Maddawg2004. Like that was the username, and I'm like, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go onto that profile and he has like 5 followers or like 0 following. Like it's just a weird account.
It's just a troll. That's a textbook troll.
Yeah, but the troll a troll's a person.
I think so. It's got to be.
It has to be. They can't just be like saying you're all, yeah. I mean, they're looking at the stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a troll who's like, and most of the time I feel like those trolls are horrified like that someone figures out they're on social media.
Yeah.
You know? Like if somebody knew that guy was on there, like he would probably be embarrassed.
Who has time to do that?
I don't know. Somebody with too much time. Everybody actually has time now. Everybody could be a troll.
Right now.
It could have been me.
It could have been you were the one.
Yeah, I'm Mad Dog. Which is actually a sick Twitter name.
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah.
That's actually that's the kind of stuff, like that's what Twitter responds to. Like Mad Dog 2004 would tweet something like spaghetti sauce should, like, I use ketchup as spaghetti sauce or something stupid like that, and you get 3,000 likes.
Yeah.
That's how Twitter works. That's why you should never, no one should ever feel weird if they get 0 likes on a tweet.
Yeah, because you have to be that weird, like in general, in order to like generate buzz.
Yeah, it's nonsense works on that site.
Yeah, yeah. So you'd say, so you spend most of your time on Twitter then?
Yeah. I check Twitter. Get a lot of news from Twitter. I feel like you can follow a lot of like journalists and stuff, so that's good. Yeah, that's really the main one. Like I have had Instagram. I think Instagram came out like when I was a senior or a freshman in college. So I've had it since that, and like I probably have total under 100 posts. Yeah. And not because like whatever. It's just like I don't know. It's a very it feels like just a very commercial app, and I'm not. Maybe if I grew up with it, maybe if I was younger, and I think, I feel like, thank God I didn't grow up with social media when I was in like high school or something. Yeah. But maybe if I was, I'd be more prone to it. But,
yeah,
I get it for building up following and things like that. And I do understand like the importance if you're in something like comedy, like it's a huge avenue for how you attract an audience and even just like for times like this, how you can create,
Yeah.
content or flex any sort of muscle. So, but I don't know. I just, I've never dug into it. Still view it as kind of low stakes.
Yeah. This podcast will be promoted on Instagram, by the way. Yeah. So
yeah. So this will be my first post in like probably 6 months, but I'll post it 3 times.
But that makes sense too. Like, and even the commercial side of what you're saying, like, I get that. Like, I don't know how it works on Twitter because I go on Twitter probably less, but I still go on fairly often, like every few days at least. And the commercial side is weird now, like with the voices, like our phones are hearing our voices. Like, have you had this happen to you where you like say something or you talk about a product or like maybe you talk about scotch or like, and this has happened to me before, you talk about scotch with your family or your friends or some sort of out or whatever it is, or like a snack, and it shows up as a promoted post when you're scrolling through your feed.
Yeah. Every time. That? Oh yeah. I've had it like I've been served like cat litter ads. Just because like I remember like mentioning cat litter in a sentence and then being served a cat litter ad. It's also like, yeah, that's got to be the future, just invasive, and just like they'll listen to your conversations and serve you, just trying to better serve you the products that they want you to buy. Dude, I used to also like, I used to work in search, so I would like read, I would like have to optimize to things like that, like trying to serve people ads on search terms. Like I started off in like toilet cleaner products.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of thing. And like it's not even just the voice, it's like what you'll type on Instagram or what you'll type on something, if you come anywhere close, like people just target for it. So it's creepy though. That's another reason, like Twitter doesn't do that. At least I don't think so.
Yeah, it's so creepy. It's like they hear every word, every little search you do. Like it's so intense,
dude. And like the Alexas and stuff, like they're listening all the time. I think.
Yeah.
I think, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure they do listen to you all the time, and I'm pretty sure that they are building just like this warehouse of data on you.
Yeah.
Waiting to sell to somebody so that they can just cold call you until you're 86 years old.
Yeah. Have you seen that? Have you seen that Disney movie? Like that, like, I think it's a Disney movie, but it's basically the whole premise of it is like the security system in the house is so smart.
Yeah. Smart house.
What's it called?
Smart house.
Smart house. There. Yeah. Is that that's a Disney movie?
Disney original.
Disney original. Oh, okay.
That's a Tuesday 8 p.m. release on the Disney Channel. Yeah, Smart House.
You still watch Disney, I assume.
I used to watch those. That was like a big. Do you ever watch those Disney Channel originals? They come out every Wednesday at like.
I'm sure I saw them. Yeah.
I had to deal with my mom that I'd be able to stay up till 10 if I could watch those. So it was my key to stay up. But yeah, I saw that movie. But yeah, no, it's similar, same thing. That's what I mean. I don't know, but the Internet of Things type of technology, where like toothbrush will be giving data to somebody so that they can sell you more, toothpaste and stuff, it's all coming. All the future. So
yeah, that's so creepy though. Like that, because like think about it. What if it gets so smart, like in the smart house example, where like the technology in your home like takes over? You like, how creepy would that be?
It actually, you know what? It might be super relaxing. To not have to do anything. I might just chill 24/7 and I think of something and it changes the channel.
Yeah.
I could deal with that. I could deal with a few extra ads.
Yeah.
I'd never leave my couch.
Wouldn't in the Smart House movie though, wasn't it like the house was being like malevolent, like it was being like trying to like do bad things?
I think the house turned evil or something.
Yeah.
And there was a maid, I think.
Yeah.
A mom that came with the house.
Yeah.
And like I think the house wanted to be real, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure though.
Yeah, it's okay. It's creepy. I just brought me back and I
But
was
no,
like,
it's true. It's like it is scary that to think tech could turn on you. You know,
yeah,
to think like I read something it was I think last year or something about Facebook shutting down their AI program.
yeah,
You ever read anything on that? They shut down their AI program because they thought it was getting too smart. And
mhm,
Elon Musk was like, "This is a problem. Like, we need to solve it." And I was like,
yeah,
if that guy, Elon Musk, is saying shut, some tech is too smart,
yeah,
it must be a problem.
yeah,
Because that guy's making flamethrowers and stuff. He doesn't care.
yeah,
He's launching rockets.
yeah,
Doesn't care if they blow up. Like he's a madman. I've said forever. Also,
yeah,
I've said forever that he is an evil villain. You know what I mean? And him turning down the AI is the only thing I have that is against that narrative. But everything else is like super scary about him.
yeah, yeah. Just because he has all of these ideas.
Oh yeah, dude. He sells flamethrowers. Have you seen like Tesla? Like look at Tesla's logo. It's the evilest logo
Yeah,
ever. It's
yeah,
like it literally looks like if you go to a Tesla store in a mall, it's just
yeah,
a blank like white surgery room that they put a huge expensive electric car in. Like and the
yeah.
car's always red. It's horrifying. It's gonna be a big plot twist when people figure out that this guy is like he's like a uh, what's the guy from Austin Powers? The evil guy, Doctor Evil.
Doctor Evil.
Yeah.
Is he the one that says "Say hello to my little"? No, that's a different guy.
Scarface.
Oh, okay, got it. Yep.
Scarface, but also evil. He's also kind of evil.
Yeah.
But he was flawed. He had personal flaws
Yeah.
in his character that
Yeah.
evil. Doctor Evil, I think, was more evil from the get go.
Yeah. Do you think Elon Musk is like planning to have like these Teslas, like just like programming them and like it can drive everyone to a certain? I mean, you're right. Like now that I'm thinking about it, like he could exercise so much power over the world as we.
Where's he going to drive us all?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I hope your theory isn't true for the sake of humanity.
Yeah. That's a Twitter theory. That's the kind of stuff you read on. That's like the news.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you should tweet that.
Yeah, it's documented. I've tweeted it a few times. He is, I've been trying to spread the word. No one cares. No one
How
does.
do those tweets do? They no one touches them.
No, nobody wants to listen. But it's my responsibility to blast this out there. People will catch on.
Yeah.
Do something, and I'll have been first.
You're gonna tweet till you're like 50.
Yeah.
Do you feel? Do you feel like this is a big tough transition, but
Go for it.
Do you feel like your relationship to social media has been healthy? I mean, even what you were just saying with you're putting out these theories, people aren't latching on right now, but you got to keep putting them out there,
Yeah.
Do you think your relationship to social media is healthy or unhealthy?
I think my relationship with social media is healthy.
Yeah.
But I also I feel like I've been fortunate enough that social media has come along, at least for me, as more of a novelty, in my, whatever, how 10 years it's been around, like I've only ever used it, with like friends and family, and things like that. It's not related to my job, like anything like that. I could see it if it was, a larger part of what you were doing, like your day to day, and it was a stream of income for you. But I use it. I feel like in a way that isn't harmful. In that, like I fire from the hip. you know, so and I don't really, I treat it as very low stakes. So
Yeah.
that way it takes a very low take on my mind, you know?
Yeah.
So I view them all as like, and I like them all. Like, I love that they're around. I think it's a great invention. Um, I'm like weary of it, you know, in some ways, you know, like, I think it can very much make us, you know, make people feel inadequate at times, rather than connected. Um, so I'm mindful of that, and you know, if I do drift towards that, and I do start to like feel like, oh, I'm opening, you know, Instagram too much for no reason, or I'm scrolling through the same tweets for the 12th time, like, I do have like the occasional day like that, you know, where I overdose.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think overall though it's healthy, but I think I've been fortunate that it's never been like, it's never been too high stakes for me where I've had to, you
Yeah.
know. But you brought up a really interesting point about, you know, social media and comedy, and you know, it has become a larger part of, that you mentioned, that like it has become a larger part of my thought since definitely moving to New York, you know, and since joint like when we're on a house team, and we have to promote, you know, shows every week and
Yeah.
things like that. I do actually feel some anxiety around that and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't always maybe post as much as I should. I second guess myself probably more in that realm. So I guess when there is more on the line, I do definitely feel that kind of anxiety towards it. But yeah, overall, I'd say, you know, if you just treat it as fun, like you know, I've done, I doesn't feel unhealthy.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you think are you on a particular app too much? Are you?
Yeah. 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 I agree with a lot of what you said. I think Instagram is definitely the one that I'll go on too much
Yeah.
if I do. And like you're saying, even now I'm realizing like, oh, like, well, you shouldn't be on it that much, you know?
Yeah.
Or you should limit, like, you know, like now I try and do maybe like 3, 4 times a day, you know, maybe it'll be 5 or 6, but it's like I try and limit my use. Sorry, there was a moth. Uh, irrelevant. But I try and limit my use, like, but you're right, like, a lot of things you said, like even feeling inadequate, like that's a thing, and that's why even with comedy, like I feel very good like posting stuff that's like more real, or like things that could be real, or moments that aren't perfect.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that that's always like great, but I understand everyone sharing any of the moments that they want to share. Like I respect it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that, yeah, like you said, like it's good in moderation. I think your mentality of like being able to put stuff out there and not worry too much about the reaction, or like that, like you said, that fire at the hip mentality that you're talking about, where you're like, you're putting it out there and you're like, I don't really care about the result, but that's, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. It's just like, I'm just gonna throw this out there and see what happens.
Yeah. And like again, the caveat is like, I am the average Joe. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you know, there's nothing, I have nothing to lose on these Instagram and the social.
Right.
Uh, as opposed to, but it's interesting, like when you bring it up, like that is honestly what seems to be the most engaging type of stuff, is when people are just, you know, maybe it's not an airbrushed picture. It is like just a funny, you know, backstage moment somebody has that they post on Instagram, or
Right.
like it's a weird bird with a big sandwich or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's stuff like that, and like it doesn't have to be planned in some social matrix
Yeah.
grid. You know, that somebody, you know, that you know, you copy and paste a caption from like a notepad or something.
Yeah.
It's, I think it's more engaging, I guess, when it's raw and unfiltered. It is interesting, and I actually wonder this for you more, because you're more in this, far more in this than I am.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like some sort of social around, because comedy in and of itself, very fun, but super competitive, right? And like
Yes.
very much, you know, now there is a tangible measure for like a lot of things in these social accounts, you know, like I know, for example, like stand-ups that like I follow on Twitter and stuff that I think are absolutely hilarious, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll just pass by another like comedian I don't know, and when I'm talking about like professional, like working, like these comics,
Mhm.
who maybe I don't know, or who wrote for something that has hundreds of thousands of followers, and like, does it mean that that person is 20 times better than the other person? Like, I don't think so,
Yeah.
but from your perspective, the question I wanted to ask you was like, how is that in terms of what you're seeing, and like are people blowing up, or are
Yeah.
measuring themselves very much by their follower counts and things like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that that's definitely a measure, like a follower kind of thing is always the goal, right? As an entertainer, you're like, that's always going to be in your head. You're always like, what's the following at right now? And you have those tangible measures on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook less because it's just friends.
Yeah.
But like Twitter, especially Twitter and Instagram, and even TikTok now, you can see how many people are following it, and you hope that it grows. And then some people, like in a lot of the stand-ups and stuff that that we grind with or that are in the scene, like it's like, I think the goal, especially at the beginning, is just to create really good content. And that's usually what the source of it should be, I think, in terms of growing an account.
Yeah.
It has to be the crux of it for it to last long. Because if that's my belief, I think like if you have substance behind what you're doing, people will flock. But another thing, like you said, it's the being willing to being consistent and more open, and documenting your life, or not even documenting your life, but not caring. Like you're like you said, that pigeon with that weird, you didn't say a pigeon, a weird bird. Maybe a pigeon's a weird bird. I don't know. It's weird.
They're fucking weird birds.
But like with a sandwich, and that's something that like if you really don't care and you're just sitting down eating lunch, you're working and you have lunch outside, and you're like, you see this pigeon, you just record it. Like random things like that just like can happen, and it's not guaranteed. So it's not, I don't think it's healthy to look at it as something that's like, this is defines my self-worth in terms of like, oh, my following defines my, because that shouldn't be it ever. But if you're trying to be successful in the media space, the more you post, the more unfiltered you are able to be, and the less emotionally attached you are to like all of your posts. I think those are like general like recipes for growing. But I'm like you, like I mean, in a way, like I care. Like, I'll put something out, it's like I care. It's like, oh, like this actually hit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Of course, like I'd be a liar if I didn't agree with that and be like, when something hits, like it's great. You get a rush of dopamine. It's
Yeah.
like it's incredible. And when it doesn't, yeah, it does sting for a little bit.
Yeah.
If I can ask you another question too, though, as a
Yeah.
follow-up, like, because you, as somebody who like, as you're saying, comedians do want to grow a
Yeah.
following and stuff like that. Like, do you find it difficult though to find that content to post? You know what I mean? Or do you feel that pressure of like, oh, it's been 3 days, I haven't posted?
Oh, I see. It's
I
like,
get that sometimes on Twitter, dude. And I'll be like, I'll look up from Twitter. I'm on Twitter every day. I'll look up and I'll be like, oh, I haven't tweeted in 7 days.
yeah.
And be like, oh, I should just pump something out. And that's when you get like, those McDonald's tweets or something like that. Have you had a similar experience?
For sure. I mean, I think especially more with this podcast now, like, like I think promoting it on social, it's like, I want to be consistent for the people who follow it. I want to treat it like a job. If I want this thing to have a shot at taking off, it's like, well, you gotta be consistent, even if you want to have a chance. And so part of that for me, I definitely get that for sure. Like if I don't release something, in every few days or every week, and I'm working my way up a little bit more to become more comfortable. But it's like, I think consistency is important. And I think even with comedy like that we do, like stand up, improv, whatever it is, it's like like you said, you want to be doing it every night. But same thing with posting. It's like, if you want to, I think if you just want to be successful in the entertainment space, it's a requirement now.
Oh yeah, it's
big,
for sure.
Yeah, big benefit though, because we used to have to go through like Netflix, or like you'd have to get a deal with a big program. Now it's like we can build from the ground up. It just takes a lot more time and a lot more patience, you know?
Good, absolutely. I thought the last two specials I saw,
Yeah.
were the best, or I mean, the last two best ones I saw. I thought they were both on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's the kind of stuff like that. I don't know. You're totally right. It is stressful, but it opens up a huge opportunity and avenue. You know, you see you see it live. You know, like you can see some of these people on Twitter take off overnight. You know, like the comedian we mentioned who is hilarious, does the Trump things.
Yeah.
Like it really is. It's great because it does open that avenue for you.
Yeah. So it has a lot of positives to it.
Yeah.
But like you said, even with the dopamine rush of like, I worked for like a lottery consultant company one summer, and like I studied like basically when you gamble, or like when you have the slot machines and you see it like you know, it's like you work in the slot machine and you get, you know, 3 sevens or whatever it is, like to get, you know, to win the prize. I don't gamble that much, clearly, but if you like get that and then you get a big dopamine rush, and they compared it, it's a similar rush. You know how like in Instagram, if you like swipe down and it loads, and then you'll see if you got new likes or if you got new followers or whatever. It's like playing, what I read in the article, it's like playing a slot machine.
Dude, yeah. And I know you said you're not a big gambler, but like similar again to the likes and stuff, it takes over your entire attention. You know? Like if I'm at a casino or I'm gambling, like I'm as focused as I will ever be in my entire life.
Yeah.
You know? And it's the same thing after you do a post, maybe, you know, like for the few minutes after, you are glued to your phone, just refreshing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you're vulnerable in that time.
Yeah, I remember even, and I don't post on Instagram that much. I got pulled over once because I had posted something, and I had like not posted in a while, so I got a bunch of likes.
Yeah.
From people, and I was like just scrolling it in at a red light, and I pulled over to the green. The cop pulled me over, and I had to explain to him. I was like, I'm not texting. I was at a red light looking at. I explained to him like social media. And was just like, I had just gotten a few likes. I just wanted to see who it was, and he was like, "You are so dumb. Like,
you are so dumb.
Like, here's your ticket." The idea that that's even close to an excuse. But yeah, it's true. There's an addictive quality to it. And I bet that that addictive quality, like, you know, causes people horrible anxiety.
That thing though, like with the cop, it's like officer, he's like, oh, like what were you doing? And you're like, oh, I was just looking for social validation.
Yeah, just looking for somebody to hug me before I get to work.
But you're right. Yeah, it is that addictive thing, and that's so true. Like when you right after you do a post, like that's the vulnerable time. And I think another part of that is if you post often, you can desensitize yourself to that. So like even with the podcast now, it's like now that I'm doing more posts, I'm like I'm more desensitized to it.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I'm gonna do this next week anyway, so it's like, well, it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah, which is actually a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe the fact that you know end up posting a little bit more in the meter of like, you know, everything needs to be super successful, you know, is lowered with every post. Like that is a way to a healthier, you know, way of interacting with the app or with posting content, you know, and also maybe build some confidence too. I don't know.
Yeah. And
so
yeah, and going off of that too, I think it's like building. I think people, and I've heard this from someone who was not an entertainer, one of my friends, and he was like, what I like seeing about people who are doing well in the entertainment space or comedians and stuff is I like seeing their hustle. So if you post a state, like even now, if like I'm going to post about that, like it's like, well, it's not it could be a respect thing, but it's just like your hustle, or if you have a show coming up, like you do it because even people who are non-comedians or entertainers, like I think you want to see how much work that person's been putting in. And the only way that you can make that visible to people who follow you, your fans, is like, or people who like your stuff, is like by you just showing them on media, like, okay. And not that you have to do it. It's just like, it's helpful for like fans probably to know more, or people who want to follow it.
Dude, and it's so true. It's so intriguing too, to see anything like that has that sort of energy behind it, as opposed to like, just like we mentioned earlier, like picture of 5 friends at the beach, or something like that.
Yeah.
It really is interesting and entertaining to like look at someone who's going through, some sort of process or pursuing something, so it's just way more engaging to see something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the consistency of it. Like I've seen like, not someone who's not even like, there's this Indian guy on Instagram, and he posts comedy videos, and he doesn't even, I don't think he was a stand-up or an improv. And he was just consistent with his content, and like, that's how it happened, like in terms of growing it. So, there's like ample opportunity, but you're right. Like lowering that barrier of judgment, like for yourself,
yeah.
Helps a lot.
I haven't, I haven't seen that Indian guy. Maybe you have to send him to me, but
Yeah.
That's that whole thing.
It's me.
It's you.
Okay.
Yeah. The ghost account. Every one of my followers is a ghost account.
But no, and you're right. Like going back to even like when you're that moment of posting, I think it's so interesting. Like you post, you're vulnerable, you're looking for the new likes because you're like, oh, I hope this post does well, and trying to eliminate that is important. And now as I become more aware of it, you're like, okay, don't think like that. But what I researched is like a lot of these social media companies, like Facebook or any of them, or Instagram, they have like attention engineers or whatever it is. So like they like focus on how to keep your attention. So in a way, they're trying to make it the most addictive thing it can be. So it's like they're literally trying to like get our like all like little things that they do, even subconsciously, that we don't even notice.
I know it is crazy. Like even if you look at a little thing, like when you like a tweet, right?
Yeah.
When you like a tweet, like you don't notice it maybe advertently, but you will see subconsciously, you do take it in, like you'll see like the whole heart will shoot little things out of it. You know what I mean? Like that probably took them months to test.
Yeah.
To see that they were going to like introduce that iteration.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. And it really is damaging too, dude. Cause like it causes, like if you're engineering something to hit someone's dopamine, at that certain level, like you are trying to addict them to something, right? And whether it's social media or it's any type of thing like that, like when you have an absence of that, it's going to affect you. It's going to cause you anxiety. It's going to make you, unsure of like how you're feeling and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to honestly further isolate you, which is the opposite of what, the apps are meant to do.
Yeah. You'll have like a withdrawal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. When do you usually check social media?
No, I'll check Twitter before bed, which I shouldn't do, but I do it.
Yeah.
I'll peruse it sporadically throughout the day. Good for news. I'll check Instagram. Like I usually do it morning, and then in bed, all of them.
Yeah.
Which is just Instagram and Twitter, and then I'll do them each a couple times during the day. But I'll usually do Twitter. Like I'll be on it, pretty much most of the day.
Mostly.
Actually, now that I've never, had a conversation with someone about this stuff. So it's like, now that I think about it, like to go back and answer your first question, I probably have a very unhealthy with Twitter. I've never read more in my entire life,
Yeah, unhealthy slash healthy, because you said you even follow like informational accounts too. So I think it's probably like, but and again, like what you're saying, it's the way to do well on that platform.
Dude, it's the way, yeah, the way to do well on that platform. And then I think like, I mean, somebody who has a large following could probably shed better light than me, but I do think that there is what you were saying to consistency.
Yeah.
And I think like the platforms like TikTok and stuff are proving this even more, like consistency over quality.
Yeah.
Volume over quality is the way to find success on any of those platforms.
Yeah. True. The reason I asked when is because I usually do it when I'm taking a dump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's like my go-to. Like at work, if I'm in the office or something, like go down on the like that's my go-to. I'm like, this is gonna help me right now. Like it's so mundane, and then you're like, please.
Dude, I haven't been in an office in a long time, so I've had the freedom to, like I've been remote now for like over 2 years. So I've had the freedom to like look at my phone wherever and wear sweatpants all the time. But when I was in an office, I would count like the minutes until I could go to the bathroom and like play a golf game on my phone. I was in hell, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I'm lost if I go into a bathroom without my phone, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it would work correctly.
You don't know where to sit.
I wouldn't know how to get the process going. You know, I wouldn't know where to focus. It would be off. It'd throw my equilibrium off.
You're right. Like it's a big it's almost like classical conditioning, like that thing of like Pavlov's dog,
yeah.
Right? It's like where you like ring a bell and you do that, like you're taking it up and you have your phone there, and it's just like you're just conditioning your brain. You're like, all right, every time I take a shit, I need to look at my
phone. Sometimes it's also the best place to think of tweets.
Yeah. That's true. Have you ever done a toilet joke?
A toilet joke?
On Twitter?
On Twitter.
I think like one of my first tweets was like I just realized I peed at the end of the day, and I tweeted and I was like, when you realize your fly's been unzipped the whole day at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Or like whatever it was, the way I phrased it, but it was like basically what happened was like I just didn't go to the bathroom until like later on in the afternoon, and like I for like 6 or 7 hours, however long it was, my fly was just open,
hanging out. Yeah.
And that's when I realized it, when I looked down to pee.
And that was the first tweet.
That was one of my first. That was a tweet that I thought deserved a lot of attention and a lot of like laughter. But again, because you're at the beginning, you don't have that many followers, so it's like it'll get like 2 likes, and you're like, whoa.
That's the thing. That's like that's the whole mentality I've actively tried to keep now that I have been on Twitter much more often the past couple of years. Is I try to use it like I used it for the first time when I was in however old I was.
Yeah.
I try to use it, because that's how like my mom uses Facebook now. Like all my like mom and her friends, like they all use Facebook like I used Facebook in like 8th grade.
Yeah.
Like they post the stupidest stuff. It's just like what's ever on their mind, or it's someone's cell phone number by accident. And it's honestly like it's way funnier than anything else I could possibly think of is the stuff that they post. But it's because they don't think other people see it and they don't totally understand it. So it's great content. Yeah. But I don't know what my first tweet is or one of my first tweets is. I should figure it out, but I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it was like me punching the keyboard. I can't imagine it.
Yeah, mine was at the beginning. I'm a little less filtered now, like with these of the podcast, whatever. But like I used to be like, one of my first ones was like, with friends by the fire, like so like direct. I was like, I have to tell people exactly what I'm doing, like father-son tennis tournament.
It's a word economy.
Period. That was it. That was like father, just like the picture and then the description of what's going on.
Yeah, and that's also, Shiv, another main aspect of success on Twitter is so you're hitting no filter in the concise writing. That's
Yeah, but there's no personality. Like now,
yeah,
like
could have been a robot. Yeah.
father, like does Shiv have? Did he hire someone to just like post for him?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like at the beginning it was so weird. I was using it and I'm like, I knew at the beginning, I was like, I want to make people laugh. I just again, like you're following at the beginning, it's just not big, so you're like, is this actually helping, like you get like, oh dude, imagine like that. I wanted to put us through this scenario. Say you do like an insta post, right? 0, you get nothing.
0 likes.
Yeah, what do you do to that post?
I don't know. I think I don't delete it. I'd probably screenshot it and then I'd probably post it to my story. Wow, this took off, or something, like some dad joke like that.
Yeah, please help me, friends.
Like blowing up, like see you later. Yeah.
You have to circle like posted like 12 hours ago or something. Just like,
yeah. Just say a goodbye out to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it would sting, but
yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to lean in.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know what I'd do. That's funny, like to think of, reposting it as a funny joke, but I would go bonkers if for like 24 hours it was 0, like not 1.
Yeah, that would be a hit to the core.
But that's what I tried to do too. Like I posted this thing, like I was trying different things. Like I did a screenshot of the news.
Yeah.
And it was like this thing about, I don't know what it was about Trump, but it was just making fun of Trump, basically, like just poking fun. And it was just like a line in the news. And I screenshotted it and I posted it. And like, very few people like, but it was weird in a way that was liberating.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the pressure to be like, well, I have to post a picture of me at the beach in order to get validation. You know what I mean? Like I didn't.
Yeah. Not that know that you went.
Yeah. Yeah. And not that that's bad. Like, I don't think that's like to any of the listeners. If you're doing that, like, I want to see you at the beach.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy that too, but I just, it's almost overcoming the fear of like, you have to post something that like looks really good all the time. You don't like, you can, if you have that, and I respect you because I don't have a lot of those types of pictures. I don't have like a thirst trap photo.
You don't have a thirst trap photo.
No, like I haven't taken a picture like with my shirt off and like put it on a post.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's something that I can't get on board with it. I could never. I get it, and I think it's great if somebody has it and does it. Like, they're a buddy of mine. I'll.
Yeah.
Just I would look ridiculous. That's the only thing that would go through my mind. Is every time I open my phone, I would go, I look so ridiculous right now.
Yeah, making it overly douchey too. Like you like take off your shirt and you're like, and you could I couldn't live with myself, right? If you like just do it, it's like a selfie.
Yeah, it's just like just a selfie of me without my shirt on. Seriously, like acting serious. I think that would get 0. That would get 0 likes, and that would get
That should get negative. That should get negative feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never. It's weird. I've like.
Dude, imagine how harmful social media would be if you could do a dislikes.
Oh, it would be bad, but it would also be like, it would be pretty funny. And I would go for dislikes. You know what I mean? You have to. But I also know, like, I again, like, it goes back to the family sized or whatever social media. But I literally, if they had a dislike button, every single person I know would do the dislike button.
Yeah, it would just be whatever likes you get, it would be all dislikes.
It'd be 2,000 dislikes.
2000. You blow up for being disliked.
Yeah, blow up for being disliked. You know, maybe it would be actually great. Maybe it would help me. Yeah, maybe it would build followings.
That's really funny. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, if I did it, like, I'd post like a picture of me in a selfie, like with a 2-pack. If flexing, whatever it is, it's just like that. That's the thing too. Like, have you ever seen like the insta models and all that stuff? It's like
that's the thing, and like I two sides to it, right? Like I think it's great that somebody who is attractive can just make a living off of that, and like can do sponsorships, and it's opened up a lot of opportunities and things like that. But on the other hand, like the idea, like I just can't. Yeah, I'm not a model. 99% of the people on there are not models. So it's like
the relatability factor.
I can't. I bet that is, and I hate to say this, but I bet it's so stressful. You know what I mean?
To be a model on there.
Yeah, I bet it's stressful.
Yeah, but it's impressive too to be able to like be that fit, and like you said, there's two sides to it. And I think like one of it's like, yeah, like, it's not everyone, but that's part of what makes it like attractive.
Yeah,
figuratively and literally.
And the two sides, I like part of me thinks it's great. Part of me thinks it's the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like the worst thing in the world that's a job. Like their job every day is to go shopping.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
I mean? Like, or to take pictures with another influencer.
Yeah. But they built it's hard to like, cause you're like you said, you respect it in a way, like they grew it. And at the same time, you're like, they're just shopping.
Yeah.
Like it's
just shopping, because if that app crashes, God forbid Instagram crashes, no skills, 0 skills, right? They'll go work at Office Depot. They'll sell printers. That's what would happen. How do you transfer those skills? I'd be like, I took 1,000 photos of myself by the pool the other day. One of them worked. So I put it on Instagram. It got 800,000 likes.
Yeah. It's got to be more than just the looks.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Yeah, like some of those, like if you can make cool videos and stuff, like I get it. I think the Instagram influencer that is just beauty has a short shelf life, for sure.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way, dude. Sometimes I look at that and, we're like comedians, you're like trying to create like these good, funny things. And then you see someone, they're just beautiful. They're just gorgeous. Like they just like 6 foot, like just a nice, tall person, like glamorous. Everything's perfect on the body. And you're like, that's beautiful. Like, I hate to admit it, but it's like, yeah, that does deserve a like.
Yeah, dude, and like goes back to never felt more inadequate than when I did those accounts, and especially the ones that do have like like you'll see one that like, oh, this person's a nurse, an Army veteran, they were a Division I this, and they have 2 million followers because they take pictures in bikinis. Like, I'll just pack it in. There's nothing I could do to compare. You know what I mean? Like, no, it makes you feel so inadequate.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going home. I'm just gonna go. I'm just not gonna do anything with my life. I'm just gonna stop.
Crazy. Never been more discouraged.
But I would say, bring it back to the positive side of it.
Yeah.
I think it helps with collaboration, at least like with social media. Like even you and I, like we linked up through social,
Yeah.
First time in a while. So it's like it's like you said, like there's those weird things of like those super accounts that can make you feel inadequate if you let it, if mentally, but again, mentally you have to like kind of just navigate it well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like collaboration is huge. Connection's huge. You can catch up with people. I think there's like a lot of like positives within it. It's just learning how to control it. And it's being exposed to it at such a young age, like you said, in high school. I think that's the biggest problem. Like if you're just exposed to all of that stuff too early, then it's like got the hits of dopamine, which happened to me, happened to probably most of our generation. It's like you get the hits of dopamine and you're like, you feel good, but it's a short-term gratification, and it's not like a relationship, or it's not like you're talking to someone. It's temporary.
Oh yeah, it's temporary, and like, it's been I do think it's incredibly positive. There's so many advantages to having it. It's just very cool to have too, to be able to like see all these people and to even share things about your life and stuff. But the kid, like, to think of like being in middle school and having to have like, who has the highest follower count, type of mentality would just it'd be terrible. It would make it would make it impossible to like talk to girls, especially. It would just be like, it would create so many bad habits. I feel like you lose all, like, so much of it is like, when you're young, you do have to deal with conflict, and like these social media like amplifies that conflict, but also like takes it away. Like you don't have to deal with somebody in person, but then you'll see somebody trash somebody online. Like it would just mess with your head.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that, I guess, I'm not a kid growing up with it now.
Yeah. No, that's super true. You feel that at a young age, and you're like, this is too much. This is too much for me right now.
Yeah. I hope that didn't come off bad, but these kids are screwed.
Yeah, these kids are screwed.
These kids don't stand a chance.
Unless, that's why with my nephew and my nephew growing up and his parents, like, I like, with my sisters and stuff, it's like, I'm like, well, make sure, now that we are more aware of it, I'm like, be careful with that stuff,
Yeah, because he has you, though. That's his advantage. That's his way out.
Yeah. Yeah. But thank goodness for the Funkle, the fun uncle.
Thank goodness for the Funkle, bringing the fun.
Before we end this, because we're in towards an hour, I want to pitch to you one question.
Go for it.
So it's like a hypothetical. Now, you mentioned playing video games earlier. I would say, if you had the choice to either have social media on your phone or a video game, what would you choose? Would you rather have the social media apps, or would you rather have the video games?
Oh, I'd do social media.
Why?
I'd do social media. Well, I can live without video games. I feel like video games have come into my life with COVID. Okay. They've made a resurgence, and they do grab me. But I wouldn't trade Twitter for anything in the world, dude. I'm Twitter over. I might trade Twitter in for, like, if you were like, you can only have water one day a week.
Yeah.
And you have Twitter, I'll take Twitter. It's valuable. It's valuable information, so.
You would have water one day a week just to keep Twitter?
If that was the deal, I would do it. People have done it, People have done crazier things. So
I don't know if you'd survive.
Isn't it water for food's for 30 days, and water is for, you can go food 1 meal per 30 days, or water is 1 per, maybe that is too long. Well, I would really like to keep Twitter, is what I'm trying to convey. I think that it's way more, it brings a lot more value to my life than video games.
Yeah. Okay, I respect that.
What about you? Are you a big video gamer or?
I used to play Grand Theft Auto a lot on my phone, but you probably wouldn't expect. I don't know if I come off as like a. It's hard to like. Grand Theft Auto is so violent. It's like I like that, but I don't think it's good, for humanity. I just like the violence.
I like that quick deep thought of. I like that. Like. I had my Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I somehow got a hold of it when I was way too young, and I remember my friend's neighbor came over, and like her dad, And he came in and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was just gunning down people, like in the middle of the street. And he was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, that's another thing. At an early age, you shouldn't be exposed to that for sure.
Yeah, that's also something you should watch out for.
Yeah,
That's another thing to guide the nephew away from.
yeah, that's off the table.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, this is what you do in real life." No, it's like, no, this is not what we do in real life. This is not. But it's weird. Your brain's so malleable at that age. You're like, that's what you. If you saw that, you're like, "Oh, that's okay." It's like, no, unsee that. Or it's like when you swear in front of a kid. You're like, don't don't do what I do.
Yeah. It's true. I even think of like swears I used to say when I was a kid, and I just, or even sayings I didn't even know the meaning to, just because I heard them in like a video or something. So kids figure stuff out too. Like they'll place a swear word in the right place or a phrase, even if they don't know what it means. So.
Yeah. We just got to be on the lookout for the kids, really, is the point of the whole episode,
Point of the whole episode, this is for the kids.
This is for the kids.
For the kids.
Be wary of your social media use, and stay away from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, stay away from Vice City.
Yeah. But before we end this, I was wondering if you had any plugs you want to make.
No plugs. You can find the 1 Minute Podcast though exclusively on Twitter. Also exclusively on Apple Podcasts and exclusively on Spotify.
Exclusively.
Yep. And there's exclusive 2 clips on Instagram too. So you can check those out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Not much with COVID.
Your Twitter handle or Insta handle? Unless you want it to be family.
No. My Twitter handle is Graham Sachs _ and then Instagram is Instagram Sachs.
Okay, got it. Perfect. Well, thanks so much for being on,
dude. Thanks so much for having me. We got to get you on the 1 Min Pod.
Yeah.
Need some fresh content for the 1 Min Pod.
Yeah, I'll see if I have time, but.
Yeah, see if you can pencil it. We need about 15 seconds max. So I understand if it's a little tight.
Yeah, I was scheduling my week for next week yesterday, and I saw that I have 50 seconds available.
Okay.
Might be able to stretch it.
Yeah, maybe we can post that out. I think I have 15 seconds available between 12 and 1 if you want to jump in.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Fun.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
Absolutely, man.
All right, and for all our listeners, stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be coming right back at you again with another high-quality, hot episode. All right, I'll see you guys.